Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to now do a review of Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness. And I have a Scarlet Witch shirt on. I'm not wearing my WandaVision earrings, but that's how I dressed up going to the movie. I went to a Thursday night showing and I had a really good time. Though I will say, I ended on a slightly sour note. Number one, I had a headache at the end of the movie because there was a lot that went on. And then the last credits scene, like the end credit scene, not the mid credit, the end one, just sort of rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't realize it was a reference to Sam Raimi's other work, and then I stepped on wet paint on my way out of the theater, so that sucked. But overall, I think I had a good time. Now I'm going to start with spoiler free, and then I'll head into spoilers, and I'll give like a clear guideline when that happens. I was going to do 2 individual videos, but then I realized with the contents of this movie, there's not a lot I can talk about in a spoiler-free video that I think can be dedicated to its own video. So we're just going to start with spoiler-free, and then we'll go into spoilers. Okay, so here we go. So I think it was good overall. I think it still wasn't a perfect product. There was reshoots that needed to happen, and it tested poorly in the beginning. And there was just like weird time pacing issues in this movie. Sometimes things felt like they were going by really fast and then went by really slowly. So it was kind of a lot to take in. So I think the movie could have benefited from being longer. And I know there is a 2-hour, 40-minute cut that Sam Raimi says there exists and that he might be open to like showings, sort of like the Snyder cut and the David Ayer cut for the Suicide Squad movie. Not the one by James Gunn, the one by David Ayer, with Jared Leto in it and Will Smith. So maybe we'll get that, and maybe that will turn out to be like the more final and better version of this movie, but I think a lot still happened. I hope it's not extra scenes that he has in the cut. I want things to be more dragged out, or I guess dragged out's always a negative thing, but I think things just need to be slower. I want to like spend more time with characters. I don't feel like anyone really has much of an arc. I think Benedict, Stephen Strange, goes through a pretty nice arc, but Wong doesn't really go through an arc. Neither really does Wanda. She kind of does, but it feels rushed. America Chavez has an arc, but I didn't really care about her character, and Christine, kind of. Again, without going into spoilers, that's all I can say at the moment. I think the visuals were pretty good. I feel like you've seen it in the trailers where they have Stephen falling through different multiverses, like in the first movie where the Ancient Ones, Tilda Swinton, sends him through it saying open your mind. And I feel like the first movie did it better. I don't know if it was because we were able to like linger in some of them, because I felt like we just sort of breezed by through several where I almost didn't realize how many there were, and I didn't really get to appreciate a ton of them, so it felt kind of rushed and it wasn't as epic as I expected it to be. There also wasn't a lot of action in this movie. There were things that happened, but they were all very brief. Again, I'll go more into that in the spoiler territory. I feel like one of my favorite fight scenes was in the middle of the movie, and there was no magic, and it was just 2 characters, and that was probably my favorite fight scene. I feel like with a movie about magic, I should have had a more favorite magic scene, but I kind of didn't. Well, I guess my second favorite involved magic. I'll say it involved Wanda and Stephen Strange. That's all I'll say. I thought that was pretty cool, but I wanted more of that, and I didn't really get that. And I think I would have liked a better, I don't know if explanation of the multiverse is what I want. I think I would have liked to have seen more multiverses, different Earths. It did confirm something that's been like rumored for a while about what Earth we are on, but we only really spend time, without getting into too much spoilers, we only really spend time in like 2 multiverses. And I feel like with a movie called Multiverse of Madness, or 2 Earths, you think we'd go to more. And I felt like maybe it was a time constraint, maybe it was a story issue, but I expected more adventure, and I didn't really get that, I suppose. And I think that's all I can say without going into spoilers. Just in case no one has seen any of the trailers leading up to the movie, I'm not going to talk about certain characters. because I don't want to spoil them. Because I got spoiled about something on Moon Knight, and because I've only watched up to, I haven't watched episodes 5 or 6. So I got spoiled something because I was doing notes and thinking more about the movie for Multiverse of Madness. And I got spoiled by another reviewer, YouTuber. And I was kind of bummed. So I don't want to do anything crazy up until now. Because I think now, like I said, we need to talk about spoilers. This whole movie is so much that, like, I can't really talk about without spoiling it. You know what I mean? So here we go. Official spoiler warnings now. You've been warned. Okay, so Wanda's the villain and she dies and I'm mad about it. I went into this movie looking for a more dynamic story arc for her, but it's kind of immediately a 180. Oh, she's just corrupt and evil now. I would have liked, I don't know. I wish they could have played with it more. Like, maybe she could have been evil from the beginning, but I wish we could have seen more of her pretending to be normal and then showing her true colors and being like, no, I've been corrupted by the Darkhold this whole time. I think that would have been easier than having it be like, oh, you didn't mention her name. Well, charade's over. I'm fucking corrupt as hell. I thought that was kind of lazy writing because I think Wanda, especially on WandaVision, she was such a complex character. And then they just sort of threw everything out the window and it's like, oh, I'm just evil now. And I just want my kids and I'm going to kill kids and many other people to get to those kids that I created and that aren't in this universe but are from another universe, and I'm going to take them from another Wanda. It's like, it was too much, I think. And I don't think, she kind of let me down. Elizabeth Olsen is not the problem here. It's the writing. It's the storyline. It is not Elizabeth Olsen's fault. Elizabeth Olsen gave a lot to this character. She was very scary and intimidating and like selfish and like, I don't know, she did a great job. There's this scene where they're in Earth 838, I believe it's officially been designated, where Wanda is after Christine from that universe, and then R. Steven, and then America Chavez. And she's like, almost like the zombie version of herself from What If that we saw. And she's just like, she's like limping because I think she stepped on glass or she was hurt from a previous fight. And she was just giving so much. And then her scene with herself at the end of the movie being like, don't worry, they'll be loved. I thought that was really impactful. I really hope they didn't kill her. I'm gonna be really bummed. And yes, like, it makes sense in the story, I guess, to kill her, because with her, we also wipe out the Darkholds of all the universes, so that's fine. But I don't want her dead, because Elizabeth Olsen is such a talented actress. I think it'd be great to see her again. Either as like an end credit thing in the Agatha Harkness show that we're getting, or I don't know. I want to see her again. And I think she confirmed that she doesn't know officially as of right now. There could have been something updated that I haven't seen, but she said something recently that like, I don't know the fate of the Scarlet Witch at this moment. I've been extending my contract, or I've had contracts through like extensions, and I don't know what's going to happen next. Like she didn't have like a contract like Robert Downey Jr. or Chris Evans or Chris Hemsworth, where they had like a 3-movie project. Her contract is different because she hasn't had a solo movie. She has been on a Disney Plus show, but she was kind of co-starring in this movie, and she's been featured in Avengers movies. So her contract is very different, and I really hope they do decide to extend it. I'm okay with very much getting a variant Wanda where she's not fucking crazy. I also think it'd be a waste to not bring her back because they've been setting up Wiccan and Speed, Billy and Tommy, and it'd be a waste not to do anything. I'm also curious as to why Vision wasn't in this movie. I know at the moment, what we know is Vision is dead, but there is a white Vision out there from what we saw in WandaVision, and he just sort of fucked off. I feel like America Chavez, instead of punching her into the other reality where Billy and Tommy were, and they were scared of her, and with that Wanda that she possessed, I think she should have been punched to where like white Vision is, and they could have had like a philosophical heart-to-heart, something like that, and maybe they could have died together. I don't know. That sounds more fitting and romantic, because even at the end of WandaVision, Vision was like, this is not farewell, this is see you later. Because they'll always find a way back to each other. That's sort of like the gist it just seems weird that he wasn't here. I know a lot happened. There was a lot of cameos. We had a whole other side character with America Chavez. We also had Christine in two universes who sort of were also supporting cast. So there was a lot they had to do. So I understand why Vision wasn't there, because it would have been too much. But like, I don't know. Or maybe it could have been the end credit scene instead of what we got. Again, I think the actor's Bruce Campbell. I don't remember. I'm familiar with Sam Raimi's work. I didn't know about that cameo inclusion. He was in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. I think he was in like Evil Dead or something, or in another one. And apparently when Sam Raimi was thinking about writing a Spider-Man 4, that Bruce Campbell's character was going to be revealed to be Mysterio. So like there was a setup for it, but I didn't realize he was also in other movies. But I thought that end credit was like a kind of a punch to the face, literally, as his fist stopped punching him. And I thought that was kind of dumb. So I think it would have been better if we had like an end credit scene where White Vision goes to visit the mountain where like the Chthon wrote all the spells on the wall that got transcribed into the Darkhold. I'm blanking on the name of the mountain. It starts with a W. Everyone thought that's where Wanda ended up at the end of WandaVision when she's in the cabin. Wakora? No, I don't know. Future me, put it up. Anyway, what else to talk about? America Chavez. I thought she was kind of bland. I was kind of pumped for her. I've never read any of her comics, but from her art style and the fact that she was going to be our first lesbian character, nothing was really done. We know that her parents are gay, but then they're lost. Presumably dead, but they're not, probably. Steven's like, you'll see them again, so I'm assuming we'll see them again. I think her powers looked cool. I liked that she had the LGBT flag on her, like, little pin on her jacket. And there's also someone said, I think New Rock Stars said that something that's written on her jacket is amor is amor, so love is love. So that's really cool. But I thought she was really bland. She didn't have a lot of character, and I think they wanted it to like be clever that America sent Wanda back to like that other multiverse where she possessed Wanda, where the kids were. But I don't think it was that smart. I think that was more of like a happy coincidence, and like I didn't mind. People are kind of talking about how Doctor Strange's speech to her when he's a zombie, because he's dreamwalking, was more like people laughed at it because it was hard to take such a serious moment seriously, because half of his face was chewed off and he looked a little CGI and silly. And I do agree, I liked the speech. No one laughed at my theater over it, but it wasn't as impactful because I felt like I didn't really learn a lot about America. I just knew she had damage, but I didn't really see any like positivity in her. You know, like I want to see that she has goodness in her, but most of this movie she was just distrustful and scared, and I feel like that's not enough for a character. Like I wanted to see her more fun, possibly confident side, and maybe like that's just not who the character is, or maybe like I don't know. I think more could have been done. I don't know if it was like the right casting. I just didn't really connect with America, and I didn't realize her power was magic based. I don't know if she was an Inhuman. I don't know if she was a mutant. I don't understand. I don't know her character. I didn't realize it was magic. So I found it really off when she became an apprentice at Comertage. I thought that was a weird way to end it. And also, like, why are you in our universe? Don't you want to go to yours? Or continue exploring the multiverses to go find your parents? Like, it just seems weird to leave her at the Comertage. I guess, like, again, she didn't have full control. This is where she's going to learn it. I didn't know her power was magic-based. Like, it's not like she had any runes. And it wasn't made clear. Maybe, like, her planet's magic-related? Maybe her parents are? I don't know. I thought she was just in, like, a utopian space world. Again, I don't know the comics, so forgive me if that seems naive on my part. What else? Okay, I guess we talked about the Illuminati. Duh. Oh my god. Why I couldn't talk about them in the spoilers. So, I'm just going to list them off. John Krasinski as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. Sir Patrick Stewart as Professor X. Charles. We have, oh my god, her name was not Letitia. Lashana Lynch. Is that her? I hope that's her name. She is Monica Rambeau's mom, who is friends with Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, in the first movie, but died. And now she's Captain Marvel, and she has a really cool suit. Haley Atwell as Captain Carter, reprising her role as Peggy. And then we have Mordo returning. I'm blanking on that guy's name. I think his name is like Chiwetel. I'm so horrible at pronunciations. I'm so sorry. I'm a piece of shit. And then Black Bolt, who was played by the original guy who played him on the ABC show that got canceled because it was super shitty. That was cool. Felt kind of wasteful because they got so easily trampled on by Scarlet Witch. And the fact that they weren't taking Scarlet Witch as a threat. And also the fact that, you know, I don't know. I think they could have explained it better. Because it seemed like Wanda in World 838 had her powers. But why wasn't she an Avenger? Or why, like, you think, I guess because the Illuminati is a secret, either from the Avengers. But it still just seemed off, you know? That they didn't, like, maybe think to call her and be like, shit, we found out there's a variant version of you on the loose. And she's trying to kill someone. You need to step in because why not fight Scarlet Witch with Scarlet Witch? I don't know. And also just the fact that everyone got defeated really easily was a bummer, especially because Reed Richards. I love John Krasinski. I thought he was fine. He wasn't. And he's been a fan cast for Reed Richards for a very long time. There were rumors that they were going to cast younger. So this was sort of like a screen test to see if people were really hyped about John Krasinski being Reed Richards. I was pretty hyped. I actually didn't get that spoiled. Someone said it was a rumor, but I never had any like square footage spoilerage from any of the trailers or from people online being assholes. So that was really cool. I also didn't get Black Bolt teased or spoiled. I got Haley Atwell teased and spoiled, and I got Patrick Stewart's golden chair spoiled. And I got Lashana Lynch spoiled as well. Well, not spoiled. She was kind of in the trailer, but someone did like a really freeze frame. It's like, I think that's Monica Rambeau's mom. So yeah. So I was really excited to see him, but he immediately like blabs off too much and says like Black Bolt can kill you with one voice, like one word spoken aloud. And she's like, what mouth? And they did like the Matrix thing where his mouth goes away and he kills himself because he panics. And listen, I thought that was a really dumb way to die. Like, he is trained himself. Again, I don't know much about the Inhumans. I know Ms. Marvel, which is coming up on Disney Plus soon, is an Inhuman in the comics, but she is not in the movie. They have changed her power set. She's more of like a genie-based person now. I don't know how to explain it. They'll go into it when the show eventually comes out, but she gets like these gauntlets. She still kind of has the big hands, but it's like purple energy. Whatever. She was supposed to be an Inhuman. I don't know much about it. I just know that Kevin Feige hates it, so he was very happy when the show failed, and then it seemed like a very much fuck you further that the guy died in a really dumb way. I actually didn't know what his power was, so that was also really interesting, because I only ever saw him on the cover with like his tuning fork, and I thought like he used that to like make sound and use it. So I didn't realize it was like his voice, and he's usually like mute. Or I guess chosen mute. So I thought it was dumb that he panicked and kind of screamed in his own head. I did appreciate that the movie went there and we saw the collapse of his head and blood dripping out his nose and like chunks of his brain inside like his cap sort of like droop and get chunky and then him dying. I thought it was funny, but it was also cleverly gruesome. I also think this movie should have been rated R. There were so many times where they were just teetering on that edge and it was really dumb. And I felt like it really limited the movie from, you know, really achieving its full potential, you know? And then I was really upset that we didn't really get to see Reed Richards do anything. All he did was outreach his arm and immediately he became spaghetti. And I was like, why would you think attacking the magic user when you are technically a close range fighter because you have to be within reach of them? Why would you approach them first? I thought that was kind of dumb. Though it did confirm that Sue Storm exists and that he does have kids. And I think one of those kids is Nathaniel, and he later becomes King the Conqueror. Or one of his descendants a little later becomes King the Conqueror, who's the guy on Loki. So that was like a fun little tie-in, I guess. And then Haley Atwell got chopped in half, and I don't think her fighting choreography was any clever at all. She was so amazingly depicted in What If. And none of that was delivered in the movie, I don't think. And I thought it was kind of pathetic, the way she died. She literally just got chopped in half with her own fucking shield. It's kind of lame. I think, so yeah, that pretty much just leaves Patrick Stewart's Professor X and Lashana Lynch's Captain Marvel. And I thought that was okay, but it almost got to a comical point their fight because they kept spinning. And I was almost getting like nauseous. They spun around, I think like 4 or 5 times. And I was like, can we stop spinning? Why are we spinning? I wish we were more stationed on the ground. I felt like more of the tension would have been there. But instead, I was more discombobulated. And the fact that she like got caved in by a statue, I thought was lame as well. I think, again, if they had that rated R, Wanda could have literally ripped her apart. And that would have been more interesting. I also wish that fight was longer because Captain Marvel's supposed to be one of the strongest Avengers to like exist. And that really didn't go on long. But I do give her credit. She lasted the longest. And Patrick Stewart's Professor X didn't really get to fight Wanda. He sort of just fought mentally. But that whole sequence was very cool. I loved seeing him standing. I loved seeing him with the turtleneck. I loved this like white space and going to see 838's Wanda like in rubble, which is like reference to when she was in Sokovia, the Stark bomb or missile was about to go off and she was like caved in her house for 2 days. I thought that was a good tie-in, and it felt like she was trapped there again by like an oppressor, and I thought that was really cool. It took me a second to realize that that was 838's Wanda and it wasn't our version of Wanda who was trapped in her mind being possessed by the Darkhold. Like I thought that's what they were trying to do, but then I realized, I was like, no, that is 838 because she has the brown hair. So that was a bit upsetting. But I loved how the red smoke came in, but then I was really bummed that like Professor X didn't have any like way to defend himself in his own mind, because that's supposed to be his whole thing. Telepathy and like being able to like, I don't know, be like someone else's voice of reason. You know, he's a very powerful mutant and he didn't really get to pop off. And I really wanted that for Patrick Stewart because I adore him as Professor X. And the fact that they brought him back just to sort of kind of just wander around and then get his neck snapped, I thought was a bit of a bummer. But he, I think, had the best chance aside from Captain Marvel. So yeah, that's my Illuminati review. And again, oh, because I couldn't talk about it before, I really liked the fight between Mordo and Doctor Strange. The camera dynamic was really cool. The way Steven like bounced on the wall, I thought that was really dope. And they didn't have any magic. And the fact that I was the most interested in that fight over every other magic fight kind of says something, you know? I just felt like maybe Sam Raimi, I guess because he did Evil Dead, I believe, or Evil Within. I forget what it's called. I think Evil Within's the game. But I feel like maybe he just shouldn't have done a magic movie. I think, because he seemed, like, Spider-Man was so good because it felt really grounded. And that was, like, I think my favorite fight. And it was so brief, but I enjoyed it a lot. And they both really didn't get to use their magic in it. Mordo had the upper hand for a moment to use magic, but then Steven outsmarted him. And then what else can I talk about? Oh, Steven dreamwalking into his corpse of Defender Strange. That was really cool. Also seeing him, like, get like tortured by the souls of the damned and having Christine come in with the thing that Steven tried to use in the first movie, but then Caecilius is like, you don't know what you're doing with that, do you? And he's like, nope. And then he just threw it. But we actually got to see, like, you can like ignite something and suck them in. And I thought that was really cool. Or I think it obliterates them, not even sucks them in. So I forget what it's called. It had some fancy name. And then just to see him later in the zombie form get like this new cape of Souls of the Damned and with the arms, I thought that looked really cool. And I got that spoiled in the trailers as well, the more I watched them, because I was hyped for it, but I wish I didn't get that spoiled. But that was like one of the coolest shots in the movie. And then, what else? The Book of Vishanti. Vishanti? I think that's how you pronounce it. I can't believe how big of a letdown that was. I didn't expect great hopes from it. I thought like maybe it would just get sucked into a pocket dimension or whatever, or I don't know. I was kind of hoping, because they're like two sides of the same book, like it's the antithesis, I thought they'd like come together and create like this like ultimate magic book. I don't know. That's what I was hoping for, but it immediately almost got destroyed and then like was just like prone to be useless. And I was like, that really sucks. I heard a comparison that Grace Randolph said that like the ending of the movie is getting compared to Wonder Woman 1984 with how Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman used the lasso of truth to speak through Pedro Pascal's character. Why am I blanking on his name? He's really important in the comics, but I can't remember his name right now. And sort of had everyone undo their wishes. People, or at least she was saying that here it was similar, but I disagree. I think the ending where Wanda has to face off against herself was good, because it wasn't a woman telling everyone in the world to do something and like be like me because I gave up something. Like, I don't know. I really did not like Wonder Woman 1984, especially the ending. I thought that was really cheap, and like it sat wrong with me. It felt very much like her like trying to boss everyone around and being like, you have to be like me because I'm perfect and blah blah blah, but she wasn't. But here it felt like a nice heart to heart, like Wanda, like who else could get through to Wanda but Wanda. I actually didn't catch it because it's kind of mumbled, and I don't know if like people were just really hyped about what was going on, or like I was too enthralled in the scene, because it was amazing watching Elizabeth Olsen just sort of like crack at the seams as she's seeing her sons that she's been wanting to see for so long and to have in her life be so terrified of her. I thought that was amazing. And like not even call her mom. They called her a witch, a monster. I just loved seeing her break like that. But then to have 838's Wanda, who was previously possessed by her and killed several people in her body, came up to her and like caressed her cheek and says, know that they will be loved. I did not catch that the first time. I had to go and watch a video to see that that's what it said. Because I was like, what? What did she say? I was more focused on like, oh my God, the emotions of the scene. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm trying to think of what else. I took notes, but I feel like they weren't that helpful. Oh, the mid-credit scene. I guess Clea's gonna be here now. And we had Doctor Strange with the third eye. I really hope that goes away. Also, that CGI, not that good. I almost wish like they made a prosthetic or like even like in, this is gonna be a weird reference, but in Yu-Gi-Oh! Maximilian Pegasus has a Millennium Eye. And I almost wish like they did something like that where it was more like prosthetic-y or just more like abundant and like magical. It was just like this weird brown eye. And I don't think Benedict Cumberbatch's eyes are brown. I think they're like a blue-green. So it also just stood out because it's like, why isn't that a matching color? But I guess it's supposed to be like a darker eye. I don't know, just to be like, ooh, that's the evil eye. But like, I don't know. I almost would have preferred like a vertical eye, you know? Just something to look more sinister. And he didn't look that sinister. He looked just really stupid. And then, but we see Clea. I'm excited to see Charlize Theron, who I really like. Furiosa, Atomic Blonde, Fast and Furious. You know, she's just amazing. I love her. So that was really exciting. Did not expect that at all. And she talked about an incursion. So I wonder how she'll play in the movie. Because I think she's mostly known as being Doctor Strange's like other love interest. Because I don't know if Christine Palmer is in the comics. Let me know. I don't know. I'm assuming she probably is because he's still a doctor in the comics. But like Clea becomes his wife in the comics. And first like studies under him and then becomes like the queen of the dark dimension, and then they get married. But I think they also divorce at one point. I don't even know if they have a kid together. But I was like, oh, that's interesting. And especially because it ties in with the first movie with Dormammu because Clea is his niece. I actually thought it was his daughter, but it's niece. I got corrected on that. So that was cool. I also thought for the longest time her name was Cleo. It's Clea with an A. So that was exciting. No one else in my theater knew who she was, but I was like, oh my God, I know her. So that was kind of fun. What else is there to talk about? Oh, maybe, again, this could have been something that was explained in the longer cut, but like, how did Wanda know about America Chavez? We find out that she is controlling the monsters that are hunting her down. And I'm like, okay, they have runes on them, but like, and I know it showed that like dreams in the MCU can link you up with other variants of yourself in other multiverses, in other realms, on other Earths. So like, did she see America Chavez in a dream where like that worked out? Like it just seemed weird. Or maybe the Darkhold, like I wanted some sort of scene where like, I almost wish the Darkhold like was its own character because it just seemed so, again, out of character and just out of nowhere and so immediate that Wanda was bad. I almost wish there was almost like the darker version of her, like in her head that was like more of the Darkhold that said like, do it, go find America Chavez. Like it just seemed so out of left field. And again, like we start off the movie with America Chavez and Doctor Strange like immediately getting chased by a monster. But so like there's not a lot of room to like clue us in as to how they even met up. Are they from the same universe? When did the chases start?
blah, 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 blah. I don't even know if she even mentioned how long she was being chased for. I don't know if it's weeks, months, a couple of days. It just seems sort of out of nowhere. But the way the Defender Strange, the one with the streaks who becomes a zombie later, reasoned it, like, to be like, I have to kill you to take your power so that I can stop this from occurring. It makes it seem like that was like a sort of a last resort. It was a pathetic last resort because, like, you shouldn't have to resort to killing her to do your fucking job. But, you know, it just, like, you think he'd only come to that conclusion after a long period of time of protecting her. I don't know. So yeah, I think that's my overall review of the movie. Oh, I guess one other thing. When Doctor Strange is fighting Sinister Strange, when our Strange is fighting the Strange that we first see with a third eye, they use music. Why? I didn't mind the fight because the composer did a really good job of, like, heightening the scene. And you could hear, like, some Bach influences. You could hear, like, sort of famous pieces, but it was like an interesting idea. But Doctor Strange, I don't know, has ever had any affinity for music. Like, I was kind of hoping it would tie in with Christine. Like, I don't know, he really, like, they had a song. But it just, like, they're in this room with a bunch of music instruments. The papers go flying. And then Doctor Strange is like, oh, I'll use music notes. Almost as if they're, like, runes. And I think that's some argument people are saying. It's like, oh, it's like written runes, so they were able to use it. But I'm like, that's never been done before. And I guess a lot of things in this movie haven't been done before. But I thought it was a weird fight. I didn't mind it. It's not one of my favorite scenes, but it was more confusing than anything because I'm like, I was hoping for more variety, but we got music. Like, I don't know. I felt like a lot of the magic in this movie wasn't that creative. Like, Doctor Strange, maybe it's because he's not the Sorcerer Supreme. I don't know. Maybe he just got powered down a little bit because all he did is, like, create a rune or create, like, a magic circle that became a buzzsaw and then made his hands bigger so he could stab the first alien that he encountered chasing America Chavez. That is from the comics with a big eye. And I will say it was funny that he literally did, like, there was like a noise when the eye came out of the monster. I thought that was kind of funny. But it was a little, like, comical. I was like, really? They actually kept that noise? It wasn't like a subdued noise. It was actually like a... It was weird. I think that's all I can say. I've been recording for a really long time. I hope this has been recording. This is going to be kind of annoying to do and edit. So I hope you enjoyed that. If there's anything I missed that you have questions about, leave a comment down below. Like and subscribe if you liked this review. Sorry this went on for quite a bit. I had notes, but I feel like it didn't help. So again, sorry if I missed an area that you wanted me to talk about. But I was like, if I don't do this today, it's not fucking happening. So I had to, like, get down. I had to put on the shirt. And I'm glad I finally get to talk about it. And I hope that you agree. I don't know if I can give this movie a rating. I don't like doing ratings. I think I'll give it, like, there's a part of me that, like, wants to do, like, a thumbs up, thumbs down scale. So, like, let's put it, like, diagonally. That's probably, like, an 82? 85? I don't know. Fuck me. I don't care. Anyway, I'll see you guys in another video. Hope you don't mind this setup. Let me know if you like it. And I hope to have more content soon. Trying to get into the rule of things, I guess. It's, I don't know. 2022 has been harder on me than most of the quarantine years, which is strange. I think I really milked it, and now I'm like, I'm going insane. I'm really fucking sad. Nothing is happening, or nothing I want to happen is happening, and I want shit to get done, and I can't control it. So this is something I can control. So I hope to be creating more of a schedule, maybe doing an intro, maybe having an outro. We'll see. We'll develop. I don't know. If you guys have any advice down below. If you guys have any advice for me on what I'm doing, what I can do better, leave it down below too. And I'll see you next time, okay? Bye-bye.